Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President and COO Mike Fasulo.
Wow, that was incredible. And not that trip right up here, but that video, that was incredible. Good afternoon, everyone. And thanks for joining us today to kick off Sony's NAB 2014. While this isn't my first NAB, it is as COO and President of Sony Electronics. And I have to tell you, I cannot be more thrilled to see the incredible range of products, services, and technologies on display in our exhibit, many of them, and I emphasize many of them, demonstrating the full power of Sony 4K. So it's only fitting that our theme this year is beyond definition, with an emphasis on 4K for 2K, 4K for 4K, 4K for all. This theme was perfectly illustrated in our opening video and will be highlighted this afternoon by a variety of professionals and industry experts. Now, one of my main priorities as president is to clearly demonstrate Sony's unparalleled strengths and breadth of expertise across consumer entertainment and professional production. This strength allows Sony to continue to lead in developing and delivering premium products and services, and also expand the boundaries for our technology vision. A perfect example being 4K, and 4K for the home, and 4K for professionals. And there is no one better to help tell this story than the head of our professional business. He is an industry veteran with the knowledge and the expertise to lead Sony Professional Solutions into the future. I'm pleased to have him on my team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alex Shapiro.
Thank you, Mike. We've got a lot to cover today. We've got some terrific guest speakers and breaking news announcements. But before we get started, I want to acknowledge some of the other special guests who are here with us today. Mr. Shoji Nomoto. Nomoto-san. Toshio Nishi. And Shigeki Ishizuka. And thank you, Mike, for that great introduction. And Toshio Okuda-san. Thank you. Sony 4K has moved well beyond where we were 1 year ago at this conference. It's a reality now for diverse content creation applications. It began as a reality in movie theaters some 9 years ago, and today it's a reality in the home through services like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and even a Sony 4K service. It used to be, it's used by the fashion world, for oil exploration, and for medical education. It adds new dimensions to 2K sports, It adds new dimensions for 2K sports broadcasting, providing greater detail to blow up shots for slow motion replay, and it's the way to future-proof the content that you're distributing today in 2K. And Sony has the largest selection of professional 4K cameras, from the F65 and F55 to the PXW-Z100 4K camcorder. If you're considering large sensor acquisition technology, the obvious choice is a Sony 4K camera. And today, we're going to show you yet another reason why, but that's for a little bit later. For any application in budget, Sony has a 4K solution. 4K content creation is certainly on the rise, and not just in traditional broadcast and production. Sony F55 shot the world's first fashion runway show in 4K for Tory Burch, and we're working with other top designers. Duke University's School of Medicine is using Sony's ProBravia 4K monitors and F55 cameras to capture and view surgical footage. They're actually showing 4 full HD signals on one display, helping doctors to view different angles simultaneously of the same procedure. But of course, entertainment content is what we do best. Upcoming projects shot with Sony 4K cameras include Spike Lee's newest movie, Sony Pictures' holiday release of the musical Annie, About Last Night, A Million Ways to Die in the West, and the upcoming Disney feature, Tomorrowland. They're all shot with Sony f55 and f65 cameras. Sony 4K cameras are shooting dozens of TV shows, including Rake, Masters of Sex, Mom, Community, and NBC's The Blacklist. And what are consumers watching these shows on? Well, of course, Sony 4K UHD TVs. In fact, last week alone, our share reached over 50%, and this number should increase with 9 new models coming this spring. Let's now hear from some of the professionals who illustrate the diversity of 4K shooting, from feature films to documentaries and more. Please welcome Peter Carithri to the stage and some very special guests.
Thank you very much, Alec. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Everybody excited to be here today? Yes? All right, excellent. Today we're going to show you some very exciting 4K content never seen before and shot with Sony's f65 and f55's motion picture cameras. Let's roll the footage. The piece you just saw was a clip from the upcoming Screen Gems feature film, Think Like a Man 2. To talk about how this picture was shot, please welcome the President of Production at Screen Gems, Glenn Gaynor, to the stage. Glenn, all right, mate?
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being here today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Great. So tell us a little bit about yourself first. Let's introduce the audience too.
I'm in charge of production for Screen Gems, president of production, and I executive produce the movies as well.
Wonderful. All right. Talk about 4K. What is the importance of 4K to Screen Gems?
To me, 4K is incredibly important because today we have to protect for the future. And 4K to me is the future. So when we tell our stories, we like to tell our stories with the best quality, and I'm very proud to say that the clip you saw was shot with the Sony f65 and Sony f55 in 4K RAW.
Right, you actually used both cameras on the film.
We did, and they blended beautifully.
Wonderful. So it looks like it's going to be a big hit.
Yes.
Talk about the different aspects of 4K production. What do filmmakers find useful about it?
You know, I like to use a term called subtractive lighting. And what I mean by that is that we used to have a lot of big lights to tell our stories.
Right.
The clip you saw was shot on location here in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace, just across the street. We were able to get into parts of the casino that before were out of access for us. And we were able to get to those locations because we didn't need the larger movie lights we used to have to use. 4K is it's an incredibly sensitive way of telling a story. So we were able to tell our story on location and sort of leave the big sound stages.
Great. And in so doing, shooting in 4K, you're future-proofing and for delivery methods into the home later when...
Exactly. You know, it's very important to realize that when we make a movie, we tell the story for today's audience, but we want to protect for tomorrow. And 4K is the best way to protect for our future.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Glenn. Really
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
it. Ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Gaynor.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We look forward to seeing this film on the big screen very soon. Okay, so it's clear that 4K is a fit for many different applications, including our next focus, online programming. Online networks are changing the way people enjoy their entertainment content, and here at Sony, 4K cameras are again playing a leading role. Sony's own online network, Crackle, already shoots many of its programming on f55s. Sony is outfitting YouTube's new production facility in New York with f55s and other state-of-the-art equipment to help a new generation of YouTubers create their content. And in just 3 days from now, Hulu's new original series, Deadbeat, premieres online. The production team for Deadbeat shot with the f55s in XAVC 4K. This allowed the post-production workflow to remain streamlined and very cost-effective. The workflow for Deadbeat highlights the f55's flexibility, and we're working hard to keep the camera constantly evolving. Rather than new models, we're introducing upgrades to our existing cameras, the f65, the 55, and the f55, and making these cameras even more powerful tools for the future and for today. Starting with the F5, a new hardware upgrade option. We are happy to announce that customers will now have the choice of upgrading their F5 to an F55 with the same imager, the same color filter array, 4K onboard recording, and live signal output. With this upgrade, the F5 is ready to grow when you are. Next, is we continue to offer powerful firmware updates along a consistent development timeline at no charge to the customer. The just released version 4 firmware update for the F5 and F55 provides picture cache recording, user-generated 3D LUT support, and many other requested features. Even more significant for both the F5 and F55 cameras, for the first time here at the show, we're excited to announce the E&G and documentary doc. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the host of The Amazing Race and noted DP, Phil Kogan. Great, thank you. All right, thank you, Phil. With the new documentary docking unit for the F55 and the F5.
Yes, very excited about this. It's been said that 4K is the future, and I started out as a camera operator about 25 years ago, and I've always tried to embrace the latest technology. Last year, we shot a documentary in France with the F55 in 4K, and we had phenomenal results. We're now editing right now. I think we shot something like 15 terabytes worth of material.
Right, wonderful.
I turned up this morning, and Peter then showed me a new addition to the F55, which is going to really change the way that we shoot in-the-moment television, documentary or reality television. Essentially, what we have here now is a new shoulder mount, which will allow you to run, like you've seen on so many shows, and certainly in documentaries, where you've got to be able to run. And then, Peter, this is genius right here, just the fact that you've now moved all the controls that you find on, say, the F800. Cameramen have to operate by instinct when they're shooting reality. This is not like going to some studio where it's 69 degrees and you say, maybe I'm just going to do a little extra measurement to make sure the focal length is right. The moment of television is happening so quickly. These guys are running in and out of buildings where the color temperature is changing from 3200 to 5600 in an instant, and they've got to be able to just know where their controls are. And if there's anything that's important to an operator, it's ergonomics. It's what will make sure that you get the shot. And this new addition with the shoulder plate has allowed for camera operators, some of them have been using these same controls 25, 30 years. They know where everything is. They can make a change in an instant. And this now has turned the F55 into a camera that is shooting like the 800, but obviously you're getting the 4K. The future is the 4K. I was just saying to Alex before that we're kind of like where HD was 10 years ago. Again, I embraced that technology, the HD technology 10 years ago, and so the content that I shot then is still relevant in 2014. If you invest in this now, it's the same thing. You're preserving material that will be relevant 10 years from now, and you'll stay up with the technology, and I think that's imperative.
Fantastic. So you just recently completed the Le Ride documentary in
Yes.
4K, shooting in France, Australia, multiple locations. Can you talk a little bit about that experience with the F55?
Yeah, well, we were kind of beta testing the F55 in a documentary situation. What I did was I retraced the 1928 Tour de France on an old 1928 bicycle. So it was an 85-year-old bicycle. The stages back then were 150 miles a day. They were climbing in excess of 7,000 vertical feet in a day, and we had shooting days that were in excess of 23 hours. We did the death stage, which took us 23 and a half hours. So we were using the F55 in rain. We were going down dusty roads. We really put this camera through, we tested this thing like crazy. One of my best friends, Scott Shelley, the DOP, sat on the back of a motorbike around France. He got to see France backwards for 3,600 miles. And we had 2 F55s with us, and the results have been phenomenal. It's still a learning process for me, but I can tell you that right now we're editing. We're hoping to release in a little bit, and we haven't lost any files. Everything is good, and of course the content. Just the irony is now we're working. Our proxies are HD proxies. Unlike the 800 where you're working with a lesser file. Now our proxies are HD, and we're going to be outputting in the 4K, and it just looks phenomenal.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Kogan. Thanks very much, man.
Yeah.
Great. Really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Okay, thank you. So this is a dockable shoulder mount unit that will offer all core functionality literally at your fingertips. With onboard audio control, rear XLR inputs, wireless mic holder, and much more. It will have excellent weight distribution and very low power consumption, and it'll connect electronically with the camera's multi-pin on the rear of the camera body. Designed with customer feedback, the shoulder mount transforms the F5 and F55 into the perfect documentary form factor, and all of this without having to purchase another camera. The F5 and F55 already offer unprecedented flexibility with up to 4 choices of recording formats on board. These include HDCam SR, XAVC, the 50 megabits 422 codec, which Phil was referring to as a proxy, and optionally with the R5 RAW recording unit on the back, RAW. Building upon this flexibility, Sony is excited to announce the addition of third-party codecs as an optional hardware upgrade. Right here at the show today, we're very proud to announce that these will be Apple ProRes and Avid DNX HD. Thank you. With these 2 codecs, customers now have more choices than ever from within a single camera platform. And next is the F65. The F65 is the pinnacle of our motion picture achievement and will benefit from a powerful firmware update. Version 4 adds wireless streaming to our tablet application, support for live color grading using the tangent control panels, and importing of 3D LUTs. Sony is also showcasing a 4K system with lower investment and HD to 4K migration, adding new creativity to 4K live production. Including the F65 4K live camera system, a new adapter is designed exclusively for the F65 and with the capability to shoot 4K at a stunning 120 frames per second slow motion imagery. And with that, I thank you, and I hand it back to Alex Shapiro. Have a great day.
Thank you, Peter. The 4K evolution is taking place worldwide. Key customers include Globosat with a 4K OB van, and Sky Perfect TV is installing a 4K production and delivery system. Back in the US, Full Sail University is giving new meaning to 4K Live. They're taking their show on the road. It recently launched a full-size truck that's part mobile experience, part technology exhibit, all powered by Sony 4K. Guests get a hands-on perspective on how media is created for games, music, film, and live events. The mobile experience will travel cross-country visiting high schools, military bases, industry events, and education fairs. You can see it on the show floor behind the Sony NAB exhibit. Now, as Peter mentioned earlier, Sony is delivering 4K upgrade capabilities to many of our products. Our high-end MVS 7000X and MVS 8000X production switchers now have real-time 4K processing, and our earlier models can also be upgraded. There's also a new control panel with a flexible modular design. Now we have something very special to show you. We want to show you some of the exciting new technologies in our exhibit at the LVCC, and we're going to do it live over IP using Sony's IP55. Let's go to our Sony team on the convention floor, led by Dion Lecointe.
Hi, Alec, and thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to an inside look at the Sony NAB 2014 exhibition booth. What I would like to do for you today is actually give you a sneak peek at some of the very exciting technology and products that we're going to be having on display during the NAB show this year. I'm actually standing here in the electronic film production area of our camera set, and I'm joined by Joe Shimizi. And I'm going to actually ask you, Joe, can you give us an overview of what people can expect to see when they visit this area of the booth?
Sure, and thanks, Dion. When you first come into the NAB South Hall here, you're going to see all our digital cinema cameras, and these are the things that have been really successful for the last couple of years, establishing 4K in the market. When you go around our set, then you get to experience our Pro AV cameras, which are now also 4K capable with some of our models. And if you go even further, you can deal with all our studio cameras, and these are the things that have brought you to the Super Bowl, FIFA, things like that, all of these major sporting events. So right now, because of the technology and the grand things we've been able to really do in the last couple of years, we've been able to take such powerful tools like 4K and bring it to every single one of our product areas when it comes to cameras. So whether you're making a motion picture, live sports, or a high-end web series, or your own first project, we have something for you in the 4K field as well as HD.
All right. Thanks very much, Joe. Appreciate it. I can see that 4K is playing a huge role in our cameras all the way around. So have a great show. So we're actually going to show you a few different exciting things that we have going on here. As you guys can see, the booth is still being worked on. We're doing all the fine adjustments. We have some of our camcorder accessories here on my left. We have our consumer team showing a lot of our digital imaging products on my right. But as I come around the corner, I'm actually going to meet up with another friend of mine, Gary Mandel, who's product manager for display products at Sony. And I'm going to ask you, Gary, could you give us an overview of this new Vision Presenter product that I've been hearing so much about?
Well, Vision Presenter is a new way we've put together to communicate information, to take complex philosophies or complex ideas and display them on a 4K monitor or a large projector system simply so that you can tell a story, display information, move an idea type of thing. It's a brand new way of looking at a communication to a number of people or just to several people.
Got you. So who do you think would benefit the most from the Vision Presenter product?
Education, corporate, any type of application where you need a group effort and you need to take this group and you need to instill a new idea into them and coordinate some information. It's just a better way of processing an idea or a set of complex ideas to a group of people.
Absolutely, cool. Thank you very much. It sounds pretty amazing. But you know, there's something else very cool that I saw on the way over here, and it's this giant screen with this beautiful imagery up there. Could you tell me a little bit about that too?
Yeah, isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, this is a side-by-side projection using our new T615 4K projectors. These are the 6th generation SXRD 4K projectors that we've come out with, which now offer 11,000:1 contrast, full 4K resolution.
Oh, wow.
And we're showing them in a blended system. So you're actually looking at this as an 8K by 2K display.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you very much, Gary. All right, you have a great show. So as we've just seen from our cameras to our 8K by 2K blend, Sony is always on the cutting edge. We're always doing something exciting, whether it's related to technology, to the application, or even the design of our booth. We're always trying to be cutting edge, and I think we've done a great job of that this year. There's a lot of people who think that 4K is really just for cinema applications, but that's actually not true. 4K can definitely be used in live applications as well, which brings us to the 4K live production solutions area of the booth. I'm actually joined here by Mike DeRoche, and I'm actually going to ask you, Mike, could you give us a tidbit of what we're going to be able to see in this area during the show?
Sure. So this is the 4K Live area. We have 3 consoles throwing different applications. And what makes it Sony 4K Live is you're taking our F65 or F55, or even our F5, if it's been upgraded to an F55, you can throw the CA4000 fiber back onto it. And now that makes it 4K Live. So it can be a field production camera that can also double as a hard camera, so it's extra flexibility there, which is great. So here we're showing that 4K Live coming into an XAVC server and then backed up to an ODA drive.
Wow. Okay.
But this XAVC server can do high frame rate HD or just regular HD at 1080/60, or we can take it over into our second bay, which is our switcher. So we have the MVS 7000X and the 8000X, which can do either HD or 4K switching, which is great. And then the other side, we're actually showing our Stitch solution, which is taking 2 4K cameras and doing a tow-in and creating an 8K frame. And so you can actually do zoom-ins, and rather than having a manned camera, you can just have somebody, fixed camera position out in the field or wherever in the studio, and have somebody in the truck just operating with a joystick saying, okay, this is going to be our pushing and our cutouts and going to HD at that point. So 3 solutions here, maximum flexibility in our products, and 4K Live.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. All right. So again, it's 4K, it's technology, it's cutting edge, and there's an area that I'm going to take you guys over to next, which is an area that's near and dear to my heart. It's our IP Live Solutions area. And as Alec actually mentioned to you right before this broadcast, this remote broadcast is being brought to you by our NXL IP55 product. This is our IP Live production unit. We're actually bringing you in real time the audio and the video from the convention center to the Mirage. On the show floor, we actually have a demonstration which we partnered with Level 3 Communications to bring video from 1,229 miles away in Tulsa, Oklahoma, into the convention center. So visitors to the booth can actually come up and see real-time video with latency of less than a field live here on the show floor from Tulsa. In addition, we've added camera control so that the users can actually use our RMIP10 camera controller and do pan tilt zoom control at the remote site. a very, very powerful demonstration of IP technology bringing in high quality video. In addition to the IP55, we have the introduction of our second generation of IP Live products on display here. Users will be able to come, they'll be able to get some information on what the second generation of technology involves, and we have a very powerful demonstration showing 4K routing over an Ethernet switch. So with our IP Live technology, users are actually able to attain the similar performance that they find in today's traditional SDI-based systems. Well, that's a sampling of everything of the things that we have to offer in the booth this year at the show. But definitely Sony should be your first stop when you make your way over to the convention center. With that, thank you, and I go back to you, Alec.
Thanks, Dion. I think you better get back to work. We're going to be over there in about a half an hour. We got to make sure everything is up and running. But it looks great. The broadcast here was terrific. Thank you.
Yes, sir, and have a great one.
Thank you. So I thought that was great, and I don't know about you, but I can't wait to get over to the exhibit. Yeah, you know, I wanted to do this for years and years. It's amazing we finally got to do this. Very, very exciting. Sony is also developing AV over IP interface to lower system costs and achieve greater transmission efficiencies. To promote wider use of our IP technology, Sony's developed a new LSI and a set of specs for deploying field programmable gate arrays. Finally, Sony's new licensing program will be open to manufacturers of other video production products. Sony, of course, can provide customers with a total full-scale solutions. At Wells Fargo's corporate headquarters in North Carolina, a new in-house studio and expanded video network produces a range of internal and external video materials. Let's take a look.
Hello and welcome to Storylines. Today's show is all about adapting to increase business or to build your own savings.
That's right, Vince. Many businesses learn that growing internationally isn't the same as growing domestically. So let's take a look at a Texas airplane manufacturer whose cross-border business took off thanks to Wells Fargo.
With raw materials and specialized skill, these workers are building air tractor planes from the ground up.
Now here to tell you more is Jim Brisky of Wells Fargo.
Hey, Alec. Nice to meet you. Well, production efficiency, image quality, and workflow flexibility are all extremely important for the Wells Fargo video network. We used to produce video that only team members would see, but now we're producing video for external customers as well. Now that our product's now in front of customers, it has to be of highest quality as we can get it. And we also need production flexibility. And video is the main vehicle we use to connect with our team members and our audiences to create an emotional connection. Typically, when we shoot a video, we're flipping it maybe 12 or 13 different times into different formats. And so we want to make sure that what we're starting with is the highest quality we can make it. Our workload has increased about 15% per year. And to keep up with that, we had to put new processes in place, and Sony has helped us do that. The whole facility was really designed off a 20-year plan, meaning that we could stay there for 20 years and we could grow with it. Sony helped us with that plan to make sure that we could grow throughout the years as our production continues to ramp up. And now we're producing projects that run on screens in the lobbies of our stores that our customers are seeing. We're putting content on portals and websites, things that we just never did before. And Sony has really helped us think through all those different delivery channels and different options that are now available to us to make sure that we get all of our content out as quickly, as effectively, as efficiently as possible. For example, how can we deliver to mobile? Also, out-of-home media is really going to be big for us, and it's going to continue to grow as the screens get bigger. Also, Sony's media backbone is really the piece that's going to tie everything together for us. this technology will give us the features that we never had before. We'll be able to get granular and really figure out how long things are taking, where can we improve the efficiency of our workflow, and within 2 months that this facility has been up and running, we've already found a lot of efficiencies in the use of our equipment, shaving percentage points off of the amount of time it takes to take raw video and turn it into efficient finished product and then move it out. We do a weekly show here called Storylines, which you saw a little clip of. It's roughly a 10-minute show that's done every week. We take various segments from around the country and put it all together. We're now able to deliver that product out in a form which the employee base can see, probably about 15% faster than we were able to do with our previous infrastructure. We're also really excited about the addition of some new MVS switchers. We're able to add a little bit more pop, a little bit more pizzazz to our productions through the effects made possible by these new switchers. And that, coupled with our new studio lighting using daylight mode rather than tungsten that we had before, is really going to increase the look of our shows for the better. We also have a San Francisco operation as well, and the plan over the next few years, we're able to tie that in, use all the footage that we have in our library, and it can be searchable by either San Francisco or Charlotte. The Sony Solutions team really worked with us from the beginning to figure out what we needed and really help us put in place to move and push our vision forward. Previously, we had a lot of production islands that were kind of like silos, and they worked, but they didn't work together very well. And Sony made us think through how can we take these production islands and make them flow and connect them and really come up with a seamless solution that's as efficient and productive as possible. And they really took the lead for us and helped us pull all this together. And now we have a facility and a place that can grow with us for quite a few years. And Sony was a big part in making that happen. It's really been a good partnership and a successful partnership between Sony and Wells Fargo. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. That was great. Thanks, Jim. Sony Solutions also continue strong in professional sports venues, and teams looking to improve every aspect of the fan experience are using Sony's production technology not only for their in-game show, but for their internal production needs too. Recent sports projects include Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Philadelphia Eagles, and the brand new home of the San Francisco 49ers, Levi's Stadium. Our next guest took on the challenge of rebuilding the team's in-house production group, creating a stronger team identity and a deeper connection with the fans. And they're doing it with a 4K workflow based on F55 cameras. Here to tell you more is the executive producer of the San Francisco 49ers, Rob Alberino.
So the most exciting thing is that Kevin Hart was on before me, and I just texted my son who was in that picture, and he thinks he's here, so I'm going to lie to him and tell him he is, because that's really exciting. Let me give you a little background, actually. It's interesting. The Philadelphia Eagles were a part of my life before coming to San Francisco. I'll give you a little lineage, which will help you out. I was a filmmaker for NFL Films for a few years, went on to become a vice president for the Philadelphia Eagles, went on to be a vice president of media and marketing for the Kansas City Chiefs, and made my way to the Bay, to San Francisco about 11 months ago, where I'm staying, or my wife is going to divorce me if I go to another team. So basically when I got there, I was really, really excited because we had this tremendous partnership with Sony, and working for so many years in sports and understanding that they're best in class, we were really, really excited. The key for us was to do some pretty fabulous things in San Francisco, things that other professional teams are not doing, a huge task really, which is produce and direct not only the stadium show, the social media, the website, and our full broadcasts all at the same level. Not having web be a dirty word or not having broadcast be the highest moment, having them all be produced with the same gear, with the same level of excellence, and most importantly, teaching our guys to shoot properly and sort of future-proof our productions. That partnership really helped us tremendously. We got in with the F55s and began to teach our crew how to shoot with these cameras. And to steal a little bit from Phil Kogan, he said exactly how I felt, and this is sort of an unscripted portion here for me. The ergonomics of the camera were the biggest challenge for us. We were used to, as probably many of you, I'm an end user as well. I was in those pictures with a baseball hat backwards and a t-shirt, which is where I feel most comfortable. But we were teaching ourselves to shoot cameras differently. And how do you follow a ball going 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour? How do you mic up players and get the shots you need when it's not necessarily ergonomically correct? Well, the Sony Solutions crew came through in flying colors. Mike DeRoche, who was just up there, was one of the guys who spent tons of time with us and countless hours. And that was just one portion of getting things correctly, getting this F-55 to shoot the way we needed it to shoot across all of our platforms. But the LEDs, IPTV, our control room, basically the DNA of the most technologically sound stadium on earth is what we're calling Levi's. The DNA is Sony, and that's a really important thing for us because, again, to steal from Phil a little bit, we want to future-proof this, and we want to be able to shoot. We want to be able to shoot for years and years and be able to go and archive this footage and really extrapolate the best that 4K can offer. We really thrive on innovation and creativity in San Francisco. Huge stage, right? Silicon Valley. This is a terrific partnership. And we didn't realize just how much Sony shared in our vision until we met with the folks and they really sat down with us. We sit on weekly meetings with them, and the crew from Sony is amazing. They've really helped us to not only become what we expect to become, which is really a full-service team. Again, not very many pro teams are doing this. They're very siloed. They might have somebody who works in their boards, somebody who works in their sites, somebody who works in their production department. For us, it's across the board, and their innovation and creativity is going to make that stadium unbelievable. And the accomplishments that we'll see, again, we haven't even shot a television show yet. We have not kicked a ball off yet at Levi's. However, we are ranked amongst the top, if not the top, in every major category in the NFL Omniture rankings for websites. We're putting out amazing, amazing footage that has incredible shelf life for the next decade. And we have just a tremendous, tremendous comfort zone because we bought 3 of these F-55s. We rigged them up. Our guys are shooting with them. We were so happy that we made the entire stadium show an F-55 stadium show. We were purchasing, I believe it's 7 F-55s. The entire show will be driven by this F-55, and it will allow us to have tremendous flexibility. It's just going to be amazing for us. And really the key is we have to be ready. We have to be trusted. We have to be in a tremendous comfort zone by September. And Sony has truly helped us do that. And it really starts from the ground up. Thank you.
Go Niners. Thank you, Rob. Our solutions approach also extends to traditional broadcast customers, and we're proud to announce today the start of Sony's new content distribution services business. Sony CDS will help create a centralized and streamlined distribution model for broadcasters' content. It combines Sony's media backbone, optical disc archive, and C cloud service into a customized solution for public and commercial broadcasters. CDS kicks off this month with a pilot program at WGBH-TV in Boston. With us today are Stacy Decker, CTO at WGBH, and Chris Myers of Myers Information Systems. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Sony C Media Cloud Services is at the heart of the content distribution services model, and the platform is also addressing storage and workflow challenges at many other organizations. Please welcome Naomi Clymer, President of Sony Media Cloud Services, to give you a brief update.
Hello. It's been an exciting year for C. The Weather Channel, USC, Raycom Media, Turner, NBC Universal, and of course, our own digital entertainment companies, Sony Pictures, Crackle, Sony Computer Entertainment, and Sony Content Marketing have all developed a high degree of confidence in C as a conduit for collaboration. They're storing, sharing, reviewing, and rough cutting material with virtual teams all over the world. They're using C on daytime talk shows, major motion pictures, pilots, and independent productions. It's in the hands of students and professors in university classrooms, and it even helped the Weather Channel to organize, share, and file stories during the Winter Games in Sochi. And because projects and teams come in all shapes and sizes, we've created individual, team, and enterprise workspaces that range from 5 gigabyte workspaces for free to enterprise accounts starting at $1,000 a month for a terabyte workspace, which can be customized to accommodate additional storage requirements or specific production schedules. Alongside those studios and broadcasters that you are familiar with, C has also found a sweet spot with independent filmmakers and creative professionals around the world who work on everything from small films to multi-million-dollar features. And they're telling us that C has improved their workflows and it's saving them both time and money. So you can see for yourself. Here's just a quick glimpse at what C can do. Enjoy.
Thank you, Naomi. And Sony's always about options. So whether you prefer to store content in the cloud or in physical media, Sony delivers that choice. That's why we developed Optical Disc Archive. It's a cartridge housing 12 optical discs and a drive unit. ODA has the longevity, reliability, and flexibility needed for long-term, large-scale image data archiving. We're also introducing a new server for converting tape-based assets into optical disc files. And finally, for higher capacities and faster transfer speeds, the next generation of ODA will achieve 3.6 and 6 terabyte capacities. The Golf Channel is the first US broadcaster to adopt ODA. The Golf Channel was an early champion of XDCAM. They helped us to develop that technology, and they're doing the same with ODA. Here's a preview of their new workflow.
The choice of technology for Golf Channel for large media archives was not to be taken lightly. This is why Golf Channel has chosen Sony's optical disc archive system. In the ODA formula, there is nothing that touches the actual disc itself. It's a non-contact environment. 50 plus years that this is rated for currently, and probably much longer. There's over 1 million reads that can happen with this disc, where in LTO, it's about 250 end to end. Enormous differences: time, cost, and migration. We save space, it's a green formula, therefore we save energy, and the optical disc system itself is by far a high degree of technical advance to what we currently have. Now we have the ability to take this archive and have it last for decades. Using robotic technology from Sony has made all the difference in the success of this product. Because it is a laser write system and a laser read system, nothing makes contact with the media itself, therefore providing years and decades of long life. Robotics, media, environmental conditions, and being impervious to all is a wonderful opportunity for someone like Gulf Channel or other networks to take advantage of this system. This is the future.
There are also other international customers for optical disc archive, and they include TV Globo, which is deploying ODA as their central archive format, and TV Tokyo, as well as more than 100 customers worldwide. For Sony, NAB would not be complete without a mention of XDCam, already a standard for ENG, sports, reality TV. The XDCam line is now even stronger. 2 of our widely used XDCam memory camcorders can now support XAVC through a firmware upgrade for more flexibility in news reporting to program production. We're also enhancing our XDCam products with wireless workflows and improved audio, and we're adding 2 new high-performance products, a new camcorder and a deck. Now, highlighting our commitment to professional disc, Sony's also announcing a licensing agreement for disc production with Mitsubishi Kagaku Media Company. One additional highlight is sure to be this camera. This new PXW X180 supports XAVC, MPEG HD, and AVC HD. It's wireless, it has a new 25x zoom, and can produce great slow motion effects. Now on the show floor, you'll see Media Backbone that you've heard much about today, which is also becoming the workflow solution amongst workflow solution of choice amongst broadcasters. The latest to sign on is CBS Distribution Services worldwide. The group will use Media Backbone to ingest, share, review, and distribute content. In addition, CBS will use Sony's System Watch remote monitoring service to reduce operations downtime. While we've talked a lot about 4K capture today, HD cameras are still the choice for live production. Sony HDC cameras are used to capture over 80% of primetime live entertainment and professional sports events. And more camera rollouts are happening every day. For live events with NEP, Game Creek, and All Mobile Video, and IMS Productions for the Indy 500. For studio operations, Sony HDC cameras are at ESPN's new DC2 studio in Bristol, Connecticut, and at NBC's Tonight Show and CNBC's revamped studios. Turner Studios and CNN are also standardizing on Sony HDC studio cameras, and CNN has chosen Sony switchers as well. QVC recently purchased 50 HDC cameras for its studio facilities. Now, as for editing software, Vegas Pro 13, the latest upgrade to our video editing family, adds a tablet app for remotely reviewing projects with clients and with team members, with XDCam proxy footage using Sony's wireless camera adapter, stronger archiving, and XAVC rendering, amongst other features. It will be available in 3 AV configurations. Now, of course, the best way to view all of this content is on a Sony monitor. We've improved our camera connectivity and PC control of our OLED monitor line, and we're also showing a prototype 30-inch 4K OLED monitor at the booth. Many of our announcements today highlight one fact, that when it comes to acquisition and imaging, Sony remains the unchallenged leader, and our next announcement takes this to a completely whole new level. To help me unveil this exciting news, please welcome the worldwide leader of our imaging business, Mr. Ishizuka, to come on stage and reveal his team's newest game changer that reaches across both our professional and consumer businesses.
Thank you, Alec. Hello, everyone. My name is Ishizuka. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm responsible for the professional handheld camcorders, and also responsible for all consumer digital cameras and camcorders. As we review the recent market, many professional videographers are using interchangeable lens cameras for their various purposes. This movement suggests that the barrier between still pictures and motion pictures, professional and consumer, is decreasing. In order to meet users' needs, we have decided to redefine our lens mount approach to alpha mount system. Based on this refining, not only for still images, but for movies, we will propose an excellent product shortly. Allow me to briefly introduce what is alpha mount system. Alpha mount system is the name of the system that consists of cameras and lenses that can be used for A-mount and E-mount interchangeable lens cameras. There are a total of 54 lenses, a variety to choose from. There are lenses for still pictures and movie and lenses that are quiet and equipped with power zoom. The short flange back and open mount strategy of E-mount is supported by key partners other than Sony, which means you can use their lenses that they may develop, or you can use classical lenses by using adapters. Now, I'm sharing with you Sony's new Alpha 7S with full-frame sensor. Okay. Okay. S of Alpha 7S stands for its great sensitivity. Alpha 7S can support amazingly over ISO 400,000. Not only the high sensitivity, it can support down to ISO 50, which means the camera has the characteristics of an extremely wide sensitivity range. In video mode, the Alpha 7S can output 4K video to an optional external third-party recorder and can record full HD using the world's first full pixel readout without pixel binning. Also, this camera comes with various features in order to meet professional post-production customer needs. I'm confident that the picture quality this camera provides will satisfy professional customers. Now, let's look at still shots taken by the Alpha 7S. In addition to strong sensitivity, it has the characteristics of providing extremely high dynamic range. This camera allows you to shoot pictures with rich expression under low light conditions where it was very difficult to shoot due to the darkness. This excellent high sensitivity can shoot pictures with high-speed shutter under low light condition. You can capture fast-moving subjects like this high jumper with high accuracy. Now let's look at footage. How was it? Thank you. I hope it was impressive. I wanted to present you this year's cherry blossoms in Japan. This footage was taken with no lightning. I think you can realize the Alpha 7S's high sensitivity. The Alpha 7S is our first step towards the journey to building the new Alpha mount system. We are currently working on a power zoom lens, which is sufficient for movie shooting. We will continue to develop the world of Alpha mount systems with the evolution of both cameras and the lenses, and we will continue to offer a product that pleases users. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Ishizuka-san, for being here with us today. I think we've given you a lot of information, and you can find all of our news announcements and photos at www.sony.com/news. I invite you to all stop by the exhibit over the next 4 days and see our technologies up close. And don't forget, tomorrow night, right here in this room, the Sony AFI screening event that starts at 7 p.m. Seating is on a first-come, first-served basis. Have a great day, and we will see you on the show floor.